Welcome to day 2 of BSL12. I am Nyokin, joined by Mr. Bombastic himself, the big Jip. We just completed Group A and Group E yesterday. Now we've got Group C and Group D coming at you. And these two groups are arguably the group of death. We've got Eon Zerg, Jaeyun, cRoSs, g0rynich, Dewalt, just to name a few. So stacked lineups today. It should be very exciting. So Mr. Bombastic, what do you think about today's groups?
Well, there's a lot of Zergs today, so if you're a fan of Zergs, this is your day. And it's really hard to predict any of these groups. Group C is probably the group of death, right? Dewalt, Jaeyun, cRoSs, and g0rynich. It's going to be a lot of PVZs, obviously, because Jaeyun's going to be playing Protoss versus Zerg. But that's going to be the first group that we're going to watch today. And then later on, we're going to have Eon Zerg, Kame, Hawk, Bandy. Another Zerg stacked lineup, but some incredible players. And I mean, looking at this first group, Dewalt's in there. You would expect them to get out of there. But, I mean, Jaeyun, cRoSs, and g0rynich, ZvP. It's no joke.
Yeah, you would expect Dewalt to make it out, but this is going to be a very hard group for him with 3 Zergs coming at him. And they are top tier Zergs. Jaeyun made it pretty far in a previous BSL. cRoSs kind of gets unlucky when he plays, actually. Like, I remember a couple seasons ago, he 4-pulled Terror. I'm like, okay, it's a free win. And then Bunker gets up somehow. It's like, what happened? And it just something always goes wrong for cRoSs, so maybe this is finally his season. And then meanwhile, g0rynich, what was it, 2 seasons ago? I always remember this game on Sylphid, the best macro game I think I've seen in all of BSL ZvP. He had so many Hydras the entire game. So if there's a group that can actually knock out Dewalt, I think this is going to be the one. It's super stacked. And then of course we have Group D, like you're talking about, Eon Zerg, Kami, my insurance salesman Hawk, and then Dandy. That's, I obviously like Dandy quite a bit here because his TVZ is so strong.
Yeah.
For me, the question is can Eon Zerg make it out in first or second, because he's obviously a favorite there too.
Yeah, well, that's definitely what's nice for both Dewalt and Dandy, is that they're the sole representatives of their race in the group, so they only have to focus on one matchup, which is the versus Zerg matchup. But yeah, I mean, we'll have to see here. Dewalt, is he gonna make it out of this group? You would expect so generally. I don't think I ever remember Dewalt not making it out of groups, right? Like, if he does, usually when he's lost to Bonneth in, like, the bracket stage. So, but, okay, enough about that, right? Dewalt making it out of this group. Who do you think is a runner-up coming here? I mean, of course, Dewalt, like we said, he's going to have his work cut out for him, but let's just assume, all right, Dewalt's going to make it out in first place because he's just incredibly high-skilled right now. Who do you think is going to come up second here?
I mean, I always like g0rynich, but if you look at the other 2 players, I mean, Jaeyun's Protoss is really good, and then cRoSs is really good too. I'm still going to slightly lean on g0rynich here, but it doesn't surprise me if either of the other 2 make it out. What are you thinking here? Are you thinking that we could have an NA representative coming?
Yeah, through? I think g0rynich is going to have a real tough time in this group. I mean, I think g0rynich, though, his ZvZ is very strong, and cRoSs sometimes is very hit or miss in that ZvZ, so I wouldn't be surprised if g0rynich makes it through into the winners match. But here's the thing. I mean, Jaeyun has actually an incredible PVZ. An absolutely insane PVZ. You can see, obviously, Jaeyun has been kind of a staple in the BSL as well. And BSL7, where he got 4th place. I remember that because he was in Discord asking, oh, what should I do against XYZ, against this player, that player. But definitely a really strong player. Dewalt, though, I mean, Dewalt is Dewalt.
Yeah, Dewalt, we're looking at the statistics, of course. 70% versus Zerg. Does that say 89% versus Terran? Just unreal. And then 65% versus Protoss. And as I've mentioned previously, when you're playing versus Protoss, there's only a couple Protoss he's playing. It's Bonneth, Oyachi, and the likes. So high win rate versus them too, but no slouch for Jaeyun. I'm actually looking at that record, and it's like almost 70% or 65% on average across the board. That's a really high win rate. It's actually surprisingly higher than I thought it was going to be. But we are getting a look at the map here, which means that I think our players are ready. So if we are ready, I'm excited to just get straight into it, find out if Dewalt can be taken down by one of these Zerg players. Let's kick it off with Dewalt versus Jaeyun on Polypoid. Okay, in the bottom left, our Russian Protoss Hope. It is Dewalt.
And in the top left, the American Zerg, it is Jaeyun. / Protoss. I mean, Jaeyun really... Is he even a Zerg anymore? I'm surprised.
I mean, honestly, I don't even think of him as Zerg anymore because, like, every time I turn on his stream, he's playing Protoss, pretty much. I know that he off-races quite a bit. As you mentioned, his Protoss versus Zerg is very good. I mean, his Protoss versus everything is pretty good, but the fact that he plays Zerg gives him the ability to, you know, understand how Zerg works. He can make soul reads on them, like, oh, well, I saw this little tiny thing, and I know you're doing this, so I'm just going to punish you this particular way. Now, of course, we see him as Zerg coming up. We'll see how he's going to respond to Dewalt, because Dewalt's going for a gateway expand as expected. Is that a 9 pool from Jaeyun? Yes,
Yep.
it is.
Yeah, that's really nice. Well, 9 pool, very interesting. I wonder what the thought process behind that is. Does he want to kind of throw Dewalt off here? It's definitely at least a build that would instantly punish something like a Nexus first, but you would expect Dewalt to just open Gate first. The thing with Gate expand as Protoss versus 9 pool, okay, that's a gas trick, right? Or is he actually going to get the gas? He is going to get the gas as well.
I thought the probe missed the creep. Okay, so I wonder if he's going to cancel the gas. Oh, wow. So this is a bit interesting. What's the move here? I mean, it has to be for fast speed, right?
This gas is late, though. It's like a delayed gas. So, not quite 9 pool speed. But this is really interesting. Here's what I was going to say. With Gate Expand here as Protoss versus 9 pool, even if it's without gas, you got to get your Forge out first and then delay your natural quite a bit. So, looks like Jaeyun is mining gas. And, yeah, I mean, it's kind of weird because I don't know if he just, like, forgot the 9 pool build or what, but speed should be on its way, like, right now. But anyway, Jaeyun does kill the probe, which that's a difficulty here as Protoss. No, that's okay. Thank God. I was gonna say, man, there's no way he forgot the build. He's saving up that gas, not gonna get speed, but now obviously as a Protoss player, you can't just make assumptions. So probably. Oh wait, no, but he's gonna get it now.
Yeah, I think he's going to get it. He just delayed it a little bit. So he's going to get his hatchery up and running and give him, you know, larva from the natural a little bit faster. And now Dewalt's in the dark. He's got to send a secondary probe. You know what's funny? I was watching the 9 pool opener and I was thinking to myself, well, holy moly, cRVT. Thank you for the massive tip. All the past 3 seasons, cRVT has, you know, almost single-handedly supported the entire
cRVT always donates, and he's actually a really strong player himself, so just an absolute legend. Honestly, thank you so much, dude. 500, that's $500.
That's nuts. But what I was going to say was
for 7 months.
The foreign all-stars versus Team Korea has been going on for the past couple weeks, and if you guys watch the Action series, Action opened 9 pool every game, and I was thinking, okay, this is what Jaeyun's going to do. He saw those games, I'm sure, and I mean, Action killed everybody.
He's actually just ling all-inning.
Yeah, he's actually just ling all-inning.
Oh, but the Zealot is out of position. Dewalt, I think Dewalt's completely blindsided by this. I mean, he sees all the lings now, but they're coming in with speed. That's only 1 cannon. There's only 1 probe. There's nothing defending here, so if Jaeyun gets in, he really has to just get the lings inside. All the probes get pulled. The Lings do not connect with the cannon though, and the Zealots are out. There's 2 Zealots with a bunch of probes. This is going to be so close, but I feel like Dewalt is going to barely defend. No, I don't know. The cannon's going to go down, and now more Lings are going to trickle down. The cannon does go down.
Yeah, but are more Lings coming? They're not, because they're dealing with that Zealot in the main. Actually really good control by the Ling. How is that Zealot not attacking that drone? He doesn't get any kills, but at the same time, it drew the Lings back to the main of Jaeyun, and now Dewalt might actually get this base up and running.
Here's the thing about killing that cannon, Nyokin, is that now Jaeyun's going to have a lot of time to just hit the gateway down.
Yes.
Oh, never mind. The cannon. Well, there's only one probe there at the bottom side.
He needs to pop that probe. There's also a tiny gap on the top probe, but the cannon might barely get up. You can see
he's gonna get in!
He's gonna get it. And if he surrounds this cannon, this might be game over. I think it is game over.
Close. I mean, there's a second Zealot popping out. So Jaeyun, he can't. It's not over just yet, but this is such a hard position to be in as Protoss, because now without anything at the front, the gateway is susceptible as well, and Jaeyun's just gonna go for the trades, but the Zealots in conjunction with the probes are defending. The cannon does go up, but it just now went up. Those Zealots are really low on health. You can see Dewalt is running away. Probes getting pulled here. Probably the Protoss economy is in shambles, and with just this one gateway, if these Zealots go down, but they actually kill a couple more Lings. I don't know where Jaeyun's Lings are. Jaeyun is floating a lot of minerals. There's a cannon in Dewalt's main. This is so close. I don't know. I feel like... there's going to be another wave of Lings here. Can the cannon finish before they get there? No, they can't. That's a lot of Lings. How low are these Zealots? One goes down, another one pops out. Lings getting on top of the cannon. They cannot allow that cannon to come up. It's only a couple of Lings hitting it, though. And the rest are working on the Zealots. And it looks like Dewalt's natural has been broken.
Yeah, natural is going to fall, and I don't know if that is an overlord at top middle, or is that a hatchery at top middle at 12 o'clock. I think that's it's a drone. So I thought if this was 3 hatches, this game is done, but actually...
Oh my god.
Holy moly, I didn't realize that the Protoss Zealot got so many kills. Okay, so Jaeyun needs to just trade here, get the Nexus at least, and then face,
it's only one cannon. It's only one cannon. That gateway is not going to be up for a long time. He can just kill Dewalt here. He can just kill Dewalt. He just has to keep making Lings. And how is Dewalt going to defend it? He doesn't even have... Okay, second cannon goes up. That's how he's going to defend it. But you saw he actually canceled the gateway. I don't even think the second cannon is going to be enough.
Well, we'll see if the second cannon is enough. Remember, he can still build a Sim City, like completely wall off the bottom side like that right there. Make it very hard to get on top of that cannon. I like that Jaeyun is actually transitioning out of this. Oh, he spots the Zealot on the left side. That's critical for him.
Yeah, he is going to kill that Zealot. I'm not too sure. Should he transition at this point? Should he just commit? That is 2 cannons. There are no gateways.
I think if he was going to commit, he needed to commit right there while the Zealot was being attacked, while Dewalt was watching the Zealot. Because you saw there was actually no probe reaction at all. Now...
No, he's just going to go into a macro game now.
Yeah, this is fine because he's got so much larva. He's not going to take any damage to Zealots. He still has a lot of Lings left over, so he doesn't even have to pump out Lings now. He also sees that gas is not being mined. That means there's no cybernetics. There's no Stargate tucked at the bottom side of the base. You can see that actually there's a Ling at bottom right scouting for everything. This is exactly what you should do. When you are in basically an unlosable position, what's the one way you can lose? Oh, something is hidden somewhere on the map. So Jaeyun's playing this perfectly, making sure like, oh, you better not have a Nexus somewhere else, because if you do, I'm just going to go kill it.
This is a huge advantage for Zerg, because basically, he's even going to make Hydralisks here. Dewalt can't really do anything. He's on 1 Nexus. He's never going to get a second Nexus. He has the 2 gate. But Zerg already has Ling speed. Zerg already has a control group of Lings. So the Zealot count is going to take a while before it's actually threatening. And Jaeyun's got 3 hatcheries on 3 different bases. No core coming in either. So the tech isn't going to be there. And he's actually building another forge.
Well, I think he's
That's it, dude. There's no way.
It's over. He's just no way. Yeah, I was about to say he's going to try and set up cannons on the ledge. And then try and, kind of elevator cannons to the low ground. But that's not going to happen. And there's enough Lings here that they can actually... I don't think they'll win 5 versus 12, but they can, take a little bit of a fight here. Now, Jaeyun, if he's pumping out Hydras right now...
The thing is, Hydras are just going to walk down here and kill these Zealots. It looks like
he already got
Dewalt...
one.
I mean, Dewalt got that forge because he wants to get an expansion going off of this 2 gates, but that's not going to work against Hydralisks.
Oh, Hydras are already here. There's going to be 3 of them comboed with Lings. Lings can support the Hydralisk. Oh, they already have speed, so they can just micro forever.
Oh my god, this is just absolutely sick play here from Jaeyun. Probes get pulled, but I mean, the thing is, Zerg's not even all in at this point. He has a full economy, full, like 3 bases, 3.5 saturated, or 2.5 saturated. But yeah, look at this micro. And range is going to kick in soon. Zealots are just completely helpless against Hydralisks at this stage of the game.
Yeah, ranged Hydras with speed, and all of the Zealots are going to fall, and the Probes are going to fall, and that's going to be Dewalt. He's going to lose game 1. And remember, this is best of 1. You can't lose games. There's you have nothing to fall back on. It's not best of 3, so he's in the losers bracket. And actually before the game started, I was gonna say I think this is a dangerous group, and now it's all of a sudden more dangerous because when you think of Jaeyun, you don't think of somebody that's gonna Ling all in you. And now he's already showed that, okay, I've got this in my arsenal. That all of a sudden he's even deadlier than I expected.
Ooh, man, I can't believe what we just watched.
I think Dewalt might lose this group, actually. I'm going to call it right now. And that means that Dewalt's going to make it out in second place now. But I'm going to make that prediction after game 1.
We'll see.
This is going to be very, very hard for him. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, PvZ, it doesn't matter how good you are. Losses like that can happen. We're just trying to think, like, what did he do wrong? Well, here's what he did wrong. He pushed out with that Zealot. The thing he already knew was pull gas. Why would you push out with 1 Zealot that early on and not have a full wall? Like, it was just very greedy play from him. And kind of just assuming that Jaeyun was going to play some kind of macro game. And Jaeyun pulled Ling all in, and that's it. It was actually, that was incredible, man. I really like that's one of the trickiest things to deal with, actually, is early Lings like that. Protosses, like, they're used to like the Hydra bust, they're used to whatever, but just straight up Ling floods off of 9 pull speed, basically. And it was a delayed speed, like that for sure tricked Dewalt as well. He like got into the main, he saw the gas, he's like, what is this? Didn't see Lings at his front. It was very, very tricky what Jaeyun did there.
Well, let me say this. He 9-pooled, right? And then Dewalt scouts it. And then he builds the forge, as you said. He builds a cannon, as you said. If I was in Protoss's shoes, I would think, okay, well, this guy can't be Ling all-inning me. I showed him a cannon, and I have a wall. So it's like, if I'm laddering, for example, and a Zerg does this to me, like, I'm actually just throwing my keyboard. I'm like, why are you Ling all-inning me?
F0 Kaspanic is sub a Gosu for 5 months.
In what world do you ever break this? Like, it doesn't make sense. But, it worked, and now Dewalt's got to be very careful. Because one more mistake like that, and it's just, his BSL is over in an instant.
Yeah. And that's what's so difficult about PvZ is you cannot, like, these early game is so crucial in this matchup. It's the most crucial part of PvZ is establishing your natural.
Remember, he lost his first probe too instantly.
Yeah.
He had to send out the second probe, and then actually the second probe didn't really scout because he used the Zealot to really scout. And after he saw the Lings coming, after he saw the Lings are coming, he's like, uh-oh.
I mean, this happens in Terran vs Zerg as well. Like, early pools, you cannot lose your worker. You cannot lose your scouting worker. You have to know how many Lings are coming out of that one hatchery in both matchups. So as soon as he lost that probe, he needs to have a second probe out on the map, even if it gimps his build, because you just cannot play blind in that situation. If you are blind, you cannot move out with that Zealot. So those were mistakes that he made, because obviously there's a reason he lost. But that's just how it goes, man, in this matchup, dude. Like, it's just
Let me ask you this. He saw the delayed gas. You think he was thinking, oh, yesterday I saw Oxford 1-hatch Muta. He was worried about the 1-hatch Muta. I'm just kidding. That would have been hilarious. Like, imagine he plays Crossy or g0rynich next, and they go like 1-hatch Muta. I think I would lose my mind. That'd be crazy.
Yeah. Well, no, but that's the thing. Like, you're thinking maybe he just didn't go speed and is going for something like a lair, 2-hatch lair. That's what I thought Jaeyun was doing, but he only delayed the speed to get his hatchery up, like you mentioned. So that was really tricky. It was really, really, really weird, but it was a good idea because it clear. And the thing is, like, Protoss had a first scout too, so he had the probe inside the main. Like, it could have been way worse than that. It could have been like last scout or something like that. So sick build there from Jaeyun. And yeah, he's gonna go to the winners match. Dewalt in the elimination match. You know, we're gonna see that a bit later today. But up next is going to be cRoSs versus g0rynich. Now, I remember g0rynich, ZvZ, in BSL. It's always something tricky. I feel like isn't he the one that always goes with like wasn't he going something like pool no gas for the longest time? Then he goes into hatch and then like spores, mass spores, and a lot of the time his opponents have no idea what to deal with it and how to deal with it. And then I think we've even seen him go Hydralist.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking when you started talking about it. It's like, I remember seeing somebody go Hydralist, and I think it was him. Of course, we've seen Abylove go Hydralist, but I think also g0rynich was pulling that out. And as I've stated before, maybe the best ZvZ I've ever seen was Tai 2 versus g0rynich on Ground Zero a couple seasons ago, where it was just chaos everywhere. And there were Hydras in that matchup too, so that might be something that we'll see here. We don't often get to see games like that. You know, actually on your stream we saw a Hive Tech ZvZ between Hawk and
Hawk and Hawk.
Remember that? We might actually get a Hive Tech ZvZ. That game was wild. cRoSs had a massive lead, and he found out very quickly that Devours are
Devours pretty good.
They are actually insane.
Incredible.
Like all of the Hive Tech units for Zerg are actually insane if you can get there. I was telling the people I was with as I was watching that game, okay, once this guy gets 3 Devours, it doesn't matter how many mutas the other guy has. It just
I was surprised too. I thought, okay, because, you know, cRoSs in that game, for the viewers, he was up hugely on economy. Not only were both his bases more saturated, but he had a third base as well. He had 3 gas going, and he was up on upgrades. He was like +2 carapace versus +1 or even 0. And he still lost the fights somehow with pure muta versus and I've never seen anything like that. So obviously a takeaway from that is that, you know, if your opponent's going Hive, you got to go Hive yourself, but or kill them. But anyway, Polypoid is going to be the map between these two. Let's get into it.
Okay, in the bottom right, representing the Soul Clan, we have cRoSs.
And in the bottom left, also from the same team, it is g0rynich.
Yep, so we've got horizontal spawns here. It looks like cRoSs is going to be the one with the first scout going directly to...
Yeah, and they're both doing
base.
clown scouts.
I was thinking that. I was like, why are they both going this direction? Because usually if you go top right, for example, for cRoSs here, not only is he going to see Lings coming his direction, obviously, he would also overlook the natural. So this is a curious scout from him.
It's from both. They're both
Well,
doing,
yeah, from both.
I mean, yeah, it doesn't really matter. I mean, the thing is, it's like this weird mind game that whatever, I don't even want to think about what the reasoning is behind it, but sometimes you can at the end of the day it doesn't really matter. It's whoever gets lucky with the scout. I don't think there's too much meta things you can game from doing these weird scouts, but anyway, here's the thing, right? cRoSs, incredibly strong player when he's in his comfort zone. And time again, I've seen cRoSs in ZvZ where he's outplaying his opponent, but then he gets into this situation a lot of the times where it's like he's playing versus someone who's sporing a lot or playing very defensively, and then he kind of falls apart. He's not too sure what to do, how to follow up and get into a later game situation. And g0rynich is that type of player to play much slower paced. Now look at this here. cRoSs is actually going 12 hatch. g0rynich is going for the good old 12 pool. So already a huge advantage here.
Yeah, huge advantage for cRoSs. 12 pool, a solid build, but it's more like a catch-all build. Like you're going to shut down early pool builds, but it's not going to be a great build versus what we see here versus cRoSs. Is that gas before pool for cRoSs also?
Could be.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, it's basically the same time. So this is going to be a nice advantage for cRoSs, but it's not an insane advantage. You can see that the hatchery has already gone down for g0rynich. Oh, look at this. The Overlord moved to top left because cRoSs expected.
Yes, there we go. That actually
g0rynich
makes sense.
Yes.
But that... Okay, so... Oh my god. I'm actually glad this happens, because this is where you see why scouting matters, and why sometimes doing off-meta scouting can be of benefit to you. Is that, look, g0rynich is going to gain from having scouted non-standard.
Yeah, he is going to... God, I was actually wondering if g0rynich was going to do the same thing here, but actually he's going to continue... Oh, is he going to move it? No, he continues to go bottom right, and he's going to see that there is a hatchery there. Now he needs to make sure that he doesn't let... Oh, wow. What gave it away?
The Ling, just how the Ling was coming in.
Okay, so he's going to redirect that Overlord down to bottom left. So now
and
he
the
knows
thing
where
is,
he is.
I think the second Overlord, where cRoSs is, would have encountered another Overlord, even if... Well, actually, whatever. Anyway, he just knows, man. He's just a god, but unfortunately, like... He does not know just yet what g0rynich is doing. He saw the Ling at a particular time that I think makes it so that cRoSs knows it's not, obviously not 9 pool, and I mean there's no Lings at the natural just yet. So cRoSs knows exactly what he's up against. It's most likely a 12th pool. And because of that, he went into lair. And look, cRoSs, he moved his Lings out. g0rynich Overlord does not spot any units at the natural, so he's feeling pressured to go straight into a creep colony here, and that's going to be amazing for cRoSs. Not only does he have the build order advantage in terms of 12 hatch, but also, you know, they're both going lair, and also g0rynich had to build this sunken for no reason. So
he doesn't have speed though, so I thought that g0rynich might pounce on him, but instead he doesn't. And yeah, that is a slick move to move out of vision and then make g0rynich worried. Now, of course, now the Overlord sees that the sunken has been built. So if you're cRoSs in this position, not only do you feel fantastic getting the 12 hatch versus the 12 pool, you see that this guy wasted not just a drone, but also had to spend all that money to build a sunken colony. I mean, those things are not cheap, and you lose a drone at the same time. So it's amazing opener for him.
Yeah, so everything so far going well for cRoSs, and at the same time, I don't actually think cRoSs even got speed. So right, like he also has an extra. Oh no, okay, he did. Okay, so it was just delayed. I was gonna say he has an extra 100 gas, but I mean, in any case, you can see that cRoSs seems to be in a better spot, but I don't know. I mean, it looks like they actually have similar drone counts.
Yeah, we're getting into the Muta versus Muta micro battle coming up pretty soon. Now, in previous BSLs, I remember Jaeyun versus cRoSs, and actually cRoSs kind of struggled with his Muta control in the Muta versus Muta battle. Now, I know g0rynich does not struggle. Oh my gosh, 2 Lings sneak in. How? And that's going to force cRoSs to turn around. He loses a drone already.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a misstep there. He's going to lose a second one.
Losing the second drone would be absolutely massive.
Oh.
He does save it, and I was going to point out that cRoSs actually has more gas than g0rynich, and he started mining his gas at his natural. Cannot lose that drone. He cannot lose that drone. It does go down, though, and now g0rynich is going to pounce with his Lings. He lost 2 drones to 2 Lings. I mean, that's not... You know, at least losing 1 drone, you're trading larva for larva, but 2 drones, I mean, it's definitely inefficient here for cRoSs. I would say g0rynich looks like he misclicked his drones. He actually misclicked his drones. Well, I don't even think he noticed.
I think he misclicked also, but I'm also secretly hoping he's sunken rushing at the same time.
No.
I mean, he's obviously not happy about that. ZvZ, it's so critical, like, to have everything, you know, very, very precise. Now, I wonder if the Ling count for cRoSs matches the Ling count for g0rynich. Well, now it's going to match for sure. They got to fight.
Yeah, they gotta fight, and cRoSs doesn't. But cRoSs doesn't have any Scourge, so he has the micro on point. Look at this micro though; he's not getting hit by any of the Scourge, and the Lings do go down, but he does have a significant Mutalisk advantage at this point. One drone will die overall, though, or it looks like two overall, though. I feel like this was an okay trade here from cRoSs, because he has so many Mutalisks left over. He killed so many of the Scourge. He needs to make a round of drones, though, here to resaturate his natural. So definitely, not too bad of an attack for g0rynich.
I actually think he should just make Lings, because since he has the Muta advantage, he can just right-click into the main of g0rynich and then force a fight with the Mutas. And then the Mutas have to decide, okay, am I fighting Muta versus Muta, or am I fighting the Lings? Now we see that it's 8 Mutalisks versus 7 right now for g0rynich, but he has 4 Scourge. Oh, there's 4 Scourge for cRoSs too. Let's see how this fight goes. 8 versus 7, remember that.
Oh, but the connections there were that was crazy. Actually, 4 Scourge connected to, and like traded with almost 5 Scourge there. And I mean, it looks like cRoSs is putting the pressure on, but the reality is g0rynich is still mining from the gas at his natural. I'm not sure if cRoSs resaturated his gas, and there's a sunk at the front for g0rynich, so these Lings aren't really gonna do much. And honestly, here's the thing, man. I truly think he needs to just. I think cRoSs just need. Okay, he's actually still mining from that gas, but it's only given his mineral saturation here. He's not going to be able to make non-stop Mutalisk with that gas, so it's going to be a lot of Scourge supplementing his small Mutaball here. I'm not sure which player has more Mutalisks, but definitely, I mean, g0rynich has way more Scourge here coming in. cRoSs has the micro out of his mind, but it looks like he just fell at a disadvantage. He has fewer Mutalisks, he has no Scourge, and it looks like he has fewer drones at this point.
Yeah, I think the Muta micro was a little bit better for g0rynich. Got a free shot off onto the Mutas, and that might have been the...
Ooh, actually, no. g0rynich also is on very low drone count.
Yeah, well, cRoSs's done a good job to snipe a couple of drones. So if you look at the supply, it's 36 to 34. Might just be a single Muta difference for one of the players. I think g0rynich actually has the lead. No, yeah, there it is. There's 9 Mutas for g0rynich. Meanwhile, I think there's just 8. Yep, 8 for cRoSs. So literally a single Muta difference, but there's a lot of more Scourge for g0rynich, it looks like.
Yeah, I don't know. cRoSs is trying really hard to force the issue here, but the reality is they're both on equal footing. So, especially when you're in this equal kind of state, Defender is going to have a massive advantage by just having their production buildings closer. So pushing the issue here is definitely not what cRoSs should be doing, but maybe he can out-micro g0rynich. He gets a couple of volleys off before g0rynich does, and it's all about how the Scourge connect here. g0rynich, a lot of his Scourge are kind of just messing around, just bugging out basically, but he has so many Scourge left over. g0rynich just has to continuously A-move these Mutalisks, and it doesn't seem like, I mean, oh my god!
So many connected.
g0rynch's Scourge just totally whiffed there, and a bunch of them blew up on cRoSs's Scourge, but cRoSs still playing hyper aggressive here. He feels like he's at a disadvantage. He feels like he needs to pressure g0rynich. Maybe, I don't know, like maybe he thinks... I don't really understand this decision, why he's constantly going in. He should see that he does not have a Mutalisk advantage. He does not have a Scourge advantage. So maybe he thinks he's just really far behind economically, and he needs to continuously pressure and out micro. But I think if he just chills back, makes 1 or 2 drones, tries to sneak them in and plays defensively, that's the way back into this game.
I like that he's going to the natural now. He's gone into the main so many times that g0rynich was not expecting this, but it's got to be careful. He's got 2 drones there. That's massive. Okay, let's see if any of the Scourge can connect. It looks like 2 of them did, but it's 8 versus 7 right now. Actually, g0rynich is the one that has a lower Muta count.
That was actually sick from cRoSs. The one thing that cRoSs has going for him from playing this aggressively is that g0rynich is never going to really feel too confident in moving out on the map. So, cRoSs, if he goes for that natural attack, he doesn't have to worry about g0rynich being close to his main. And now cRoSs is trying another angle, but this is so scary. It just takes a couple of Scourge to turn the game around completely. But honestly, cRoSs's micro is on point here. g0rynich cannot seem to connect his Scourge, even though he seems to have infinite amounts of Scourge.
I know, but I think they did connect that time because now it's back to even mute accounts with way more Scourge for g0rynich. There was actually a supply lead for cRoSs for a couple moments, but now it's back to a supply lead for g0rynich. 8 mutas for g0rynich versus 8 for cRoSs. Looks like cRoSs's mutas are slightly more damaged. I wonder if anybody's got an armor or weapon on their muta list. Obviously, armor is a huge breakpoint for ZvZ, but I don't think anybody's feeling confident enough to click that upgrade. Mutas are sharking around the top side again.
I mean, in general,
he shows the Scourge. He shows the Scourge and goes into the natural. Look at this move.
Yeah,
hello.
Another couple drones getting picked off. He needs to get out of there, though. Oh my god, he missed a couple of shots, and now the Scourge from g0rynich did connect. They're still even in mutalist count. It's going to come down to the micro once again. g0rynich, he has so many Scourge that constantly suicide on to cRoSs Scourge, and he's not microing his own mutalist. So honestly, cRoSs seems like he's getting the better trades repeatedly just due to his micro, but at the same time, I don't know, man, because g0rynich, he's losing drones, but look, he lost drones, but he remade them. I think for some reason these trades are not going cRoSs's way, and I don't know if it's because every time he goes in, he actually eats 1 or 2 Scourge to his mutalisks, and g0rynch's mutalisks actually do trim cRoSs's mutalisk, but this whole time cRoSs has not made a single drone.
Yeah, like we see cRoSs build like a Ling here and there, and they don't do anything. And that means that could have been a potential drone built, and instead it just, you know, is just a used up larva for nothing essentially. But g0rynich consistently rebuilding his drone, and he's trading more effectively with his Scourge, really. Well, it looks like, oh, I thought we were going to have an engagement, but it looks like both players are just going to build up their army at this point. Wow, just so many Scourge being built non-stop by g0rynich. Meanwhile, cRoSs is the one that continuously keeps building mutas.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna come down. How does g0rynich? He always has like a huge flock of Scourge, but honestly, his micro is just a bit off. He doesn't really hotkey the Scourge and click them on the mutalist. They always kind of collide with cRoSs's Scourge and trade like 2 for 1. cRoSs still not getting hit there. Some sick micro, and cRoSs has his own Scourge, but definitely has fewer than g0rynich. And you know, g0rynich has been maintaining like a 4 supply lead this whole time, and probably that's what's represented here by the massive Scourge count. But it looks like cRoSs in general has had success in just trading his own Scourge for oh my god, what is this?
Oh, this could be what cRoSs needs if he can actually focus down some of these Scourge. Oh, Lings get into the main of cRoSs. This is going to draw. Oh, this might be game changing. This might be what g0rynich needs to start taking this game. Ling kills.
Oh my god!
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, that's like a game-ending move there. And the thing is, not only does he kill a couple of drones, but at the same time he completely halts cRoSs's tempo here. cRoSs had to basically retreat. I'm surprised g0rynich is just staying inside of his main, but I guess it's the safest thing to do here. You know you're ahead economically. Just wait for a couple more production rounds and you'll overwhelm your opponent. But it's all down to whether or not g0rynich can actually chase down cRoSs's mutalisk. Oh my god, he just slaps that one mutalisk and runs away. But cRoSs, so many Scourge here from both players actually. g0rynch's Scourge can just kind of dud out all the time.
What?
And cRoSs has absolutely incredible micro there.
What happened?
Still has a huge flock of mutalisks, and g0rynich only has 4. Look at the supplies, Nyokin.
g0rynich has 4 mutas left when he had more, but when that fight started, what just happened? Now cRoSs has a 3 supply lead. That's a sizable lead, especially since it's all air. He's gonna pick off these Scourge too. I don't think he recognizes that he's killed so many mutalisks, so he's a bit worried.
Oh my god, this is going to be so close here. Well, I mean, the thing is, cRoSs just has a huge advantage, but he doesn't want to... It can go either way. You know, if g0rynich, his Scourge, if they connect, cRoSs can also get his mutaflog deleted, like what happened to g0rynich just a second ago. So, oh my god, 2 more Lings make it inside of cRoSs's base.
He's got to go for it.
He's not mining minerals.
He's turning around. I think Ted just needed to trigger the all-in. Instead, he's going to turn back and try and save his base. Oh my gosh. Now this is going to allow g0rynich some time to catch up.
Yeah, but at the same time, g0rynich has been making a lot of Scourge, not mutalisks, and the reality is g0rynich also lost a bunch of drones, and cRoSs is still ahead in supply. So that looked scary for a second for cRoSs, but now that he stabilized his mining again, he can maintain the supply advantage. You can see he still has the Mutalisk advantage. He kills another, what was that, like an Overlord or something?
I think it was an Overlord.
Yeah, well, for now it's not going to come into play, but eventually it will. He's going to kill this Overlord too, which will supply block. No, he's going to go for the drones instead. Oh my god, the thing is, he's going to get completely caught off by these Scourge.
It's not firing.
g0rynich just cannot get his Scourge to connect. Where are cRoSs's Scourge though? Did he just throw the game away?
I think he might have thrown the game because his Scourge are... Oh, they are connecting now, but it's still 5-on-5. What happened to the other Scourge that he had? Obviously, it's so hard to control. More reinforcing, but another Scourge connects for g0rynich.
And you can see g0rynich has taken the supply lead here, but there's so many Scourge from both ends! Looks like cRoSs, he is going to run away. Is he going to get his Mutalisk killed? Oh my god.
It's 31-22.
I cannot believe that just happened. They're like playing, you know what I think I'm watching now? And this isn't ZvZ, it's a game of catch. Just throw the ball back and forth.
Well, cRoSs's starting to drone now, it looks like, and this is the one time that g0rynich is getting aggressive. And he's going to get punished as that. Yeah, it looks like it's over, but maybe some Scourge can connect. For cRoSs, maybe? No, there's just way too many Scourge for g0rynich. Oh my gosh, this is going to be... When cRoSs watches a replay, this is going to be heartbreaking for him because he had it. But of course, g0rynich had it at certain moments too. And g0rynich, he's going to take the game. That was wild. Literally, they had the same mute account during that big fight. And then cRoSs had 10 and g0rynich had 4. Is that right? Like every Scourge, not only did they connect, they connected on different mutas and like one-shotted all of them. I was like, oh, okay, well.
I'm gonna have a heart attack with these games, man. They're just coming down to the wire every single time. That's so unfortunate for cRoSs. He had the game in the bag, and then he went for that. He went to snipe a couple more drones at the natural and got caught by g0rynich Scourges, and I still don't, you have to look at the replay, but I don't understand how time and time again they were both even on Mutalisk count, but g0rynich just had like 20 Scourge every single time and still couldn't win. And then that last fight, like what even happened? Like not the last fight, but the one that almost lost g0rynich the game. What even happened? He just had like a flock of Mutalisks and they got deleted.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. Honestly, as soon as the game ended, I instantly alt-tabbed to see if I could catch the fight on the stream, and I just missed it. But yeah, that was wild. That is that's a once in a blue moon ZvZ right there. Such a back and forth muta Scourge fight.
Sick.
Muta Scourge are really hard to control. So at the end, when you're wondering like, okay, where's cRoSs's Scourge? Like, it's not easy to muta control and also control Scourge at the same time. And I think he did have a couple idle. But, I mean, regardless, both players played fantastic. But in the end, it's going to be g0rynich, and this is going to set up a PvZ between Jaeyun and g0rynich in the winner's match. Yeah,
Jaeyun Protoss. Actually, I think he's going to be really happy about that because he would rather be playing Protoss than Zerg. So that's going to be interesting. But g0rynich, of course, is a monster in ZvP. So we'll see, man. I mean, I'm not gonna lie though, like Jaeyun, his PvZ is nuts.
Yeah, when you were saying that he's going to be feeling great about playing Protoss, I instantly was like, what is he going to be playing versus g0rynich? And g0rynich is a monster ZvP. But I have to say that he probably prefers g0rynich simply because, him and cRoSs play quite a lot. And
I'm telling you, man, Jaeyun, all he does is play PvZ. All he does is play PvZ. PvZ Hawk, PvZ Striker, PvZ Cross, PvZ TT1, PvZ No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, he plays a lot of PvZ, but I just wanted to point out that when you play somebody that you know, all of a sudden it's not just PvZ anymore. It's like mind game battle.
Yes.
But when he's playing g0rynich, there's probably not going to be any mind games because I doubt he plays g0rynich quite often. It's just I'm going to go for this build because I think you're going to do this build, and that's going to be it, right? So
yeah,
there's not going to be any wild shenanigans. I don't think we're going to see like the 9-pool delayed gas, and then g0rynich can ultimate mind game him, right? Like that's not going to happen. But now we're going to be getting into PvZ, and we've got my map. My boy is Power Bond, baby. Now, what I remember about Power Bond was Protoss hated this map because the mineral only completely exposed. A full arch of Hydras can just destroy the third base. It's not like Circuit Breaker where, I mean, at least they're all coming down through a ramp. There's kind of like a funnel. It's completely open.
Yeah, this map is not good for Protoss versus Zerg. Protoss is going to be stuck on 2 bases for sure. And what I'm thinking that we're going to see here from Jaeyun is going to be some kind of like 2-base, 10-gate type of super all-in push. Because if you think about what third base do you take here as Protoss, there's a mineral only that's relatively nearby, but it's totally open, like you said. And then depending on the rotational spawns, because sometimes it's so weird, the gas third that's next to your main on this map, you don't want it to be facing your opponent. If it's kind of tucked away, you can maybe opt to go for that one. So let's say if Jaeyun is spawning in the top right here and g0rynich is spawning in the top left, then suddenly taking that gas expansion that's right below his main at the top right, that makes a lot, it's okay. It's kind of doable, even though it's totally open. But if g0rynich is at the southern side, taking that it is pretty much suicide. So in general, then again, if you look at the matchup statistics, apparently Protoss wins on versus Zerg on this map.
It's not bad statistic here, 43% win rate. I mean, it's not super balanced, but it's, not horrible. But it seems that the players are ready. So let's find out who's going to make it out of Group C in first place. Is it going to be Jaeyun or is it going to be g0rynich? All right, in the blue, in the top right, it is the NA superstar. It is Jaeyun.
And in the bottom, the Russian Zerg, it is g0rynich, who, by the way, is going to play Ret in a show match not too long from now.
Yeah, that's going to be coming up. I mean, it's actually in just a couple hours today, so after BSL, you should check that out, see if g0rynich can take down the old school Dutch player playing Terran, actually, in TVZ. Now, this is going to be the nightmare scenario that you're talking about, where we've got Jaeyun top right, and g0rynich is bottom middle. And before the game started, I also agreed that this is probably going to be 9-gate all-in from Jaeyun with probably 2-1 and just try and take this game pretty quickly. But we may end up seeing him transition into some type of 3 or 4 base play, but I actually kind of doubt that. Now, this is interesting because there's no gateway at the low ground. This looks like it's going to be 12 Nexus.
It's going to be an 11 Nexus, actually. And, oh my god, sick read here from Jaeyun. Now, 11 Nexus is the safest, the safer opening. You can have a you can have a cannon out in time versus overpool, I believe. Obviously, if g0rynich had done something like a 9-pull, he would just outright kill Protoss here. And I think, well, it looks like Jaeyun is going to scout the wrong position unless they he intersects the drone. No. Oh, he saw the drone. He saw the drone. So I think he's going to go bottom. Yes.
He is going to find g0rynich at bottom right. And I'm trying to think, is this the map that you can cannon rush? Well, I don't think. Oh, actually, you might be able to put it right there. No.
I'd be so surprised if he goes for a cannon rush. I feel like, because the thing is, he already has the Nexus Nyoken. I mean, he doesn't have money to put down pylons and cannons. But
yeah, so that's not going to happen. He's going to go for the safe opener with the cannon before the gate. And now we see that g0rynich actually has a somewhat quick gas here. It's going to be, well, actually, it's pretty standard gas. This is the layer timing gas, 235 gas. Third hatch is going to go up at that high ground base. That base has a gas, so I'm kind of curious why he's opted into this.
Dude, that
Also,
base is so far away, too.
Yeah, and it's far away. So, like, all of a sudden, Hydra play isn't all that great either.
Yeah, you know what? I'm not going to lie, but obviously looking at this map, you're thinking, okay, Protoss pretty bad because third base. But Zerg on this map, especially if you're kind of into that lurker playstyle, you're kind of stuck on the... Like, it's very hard to take 4 bases. And the natural, to be quite honest, is pretty open. Like, it's not very choked up. So if Protoss goes for a big push, I feel like the natural is very susceptible. And maybe you won't be breaking these high ground gas expansions, but you can break the main base of Zerg. So maybe that's why this map has a slight Protoss advantage in terms of the statistics. But I think it's just mostly in general Protoss players are a bit stronger in the foreign scene. Who knows who played those maps, but in any case, Jaeyun is going to get the probe scout in here. He is going to see that there's a lair. And what's nice from Jaeyun's build is that he already has a citadel going. Oh my god, this tech is so fast. He's got 1 cannon. He didn't make any zealots. This is incredible.
Yeah, this was literally a 4-minute citadel. Oh, he chose the Stargate!
Oh my god, this guy's an absolute genius, dude. 500 IQ, man.
So he's probably going to start cutting a little bit here and put down a couple gates, and he's just going to show up with mass zealot.
I mean, I don't know. Like, that's the only thing that's weird about this for me is that this early citadel usually, I would think it's for a fast Templar archives, but looks like it's not.
Yeah, he just spent 150 gas right there. So this is going to be speed. However, because he built that Stargate, you know, there's no second gate after this. Like, it's still not, it still hasn't been built. So actually, this incoming zealot attack, I'm not too sure how this is going to fare because it's probably only going to be 5 zealots. Like, there's really not a lot of follow-up after this. However, this is going to catch g0rynich completely off guard. He's going to be like, wait a minute. I saw Stargate. How do you actually have speed? Now, Jaeyun's sacking a lot for this because, as Zero's pointing out, there's no weapon upgrade at all. Now it's just started.
Yeah. This is, there are going to be 5 zealots running across the map at the most insane time. But again, no +1 zealots. The thing that is nice for Jaeyun is his probe scout did see that there were a lot of drones. So he should know that maybe there's not too much defense. But at the same time, g0rynich has his second gas. He's pulling larva, so definitely is going to go for mutalisks. But, I mean, there's going to be a while before those mutalisks hatch. And then, even when they do hatch, they're going to have to kill the zealots.
He's gonna draw all of the units to the Overlord, and he's gonna attack the third base with the zealots. And g0rynich has no idea. Now he spotted the zealot. I'm surprised that speed hasn't kicked in just yet.
Yeah, speed is now finished. This is so insane. He has to kill that hatchery, though. This is a huge commitment from Jaeyun. What does he kill here? Does he go for the drones? Does he start targeting the hatchery? That's a lot of lings spawning. A mutalisk is out already. So this attack here, I mean, it doesn't really look that scary. Couple of zealots coming into the main as well. They are going to trade decently well against the Zerglings, but you know what's nice about getting the speed early on is that you can constantly keep the mutalisks back. They can't really trade, or they can't chase the zealots too efficiently. But at the same time, I mean, they don't have +1, so they can't really deal with lings. Cannon's now getting warped in at Jaeyun's main. He has a lot of Corsair, so he does have a response to these mutalisks.
There's 2 zealots going to the third base again, and that's going to be a lot of gateways coming in for Jaeyun. He's already got 4 up, and he's continuously built Sairs. So actually, I think he might just outright kill g0rynich in the next minute, because that's when +1 weapon's going to kick in on his ground, and he's going to get off like 2 or 3 cycles out of these 4 gateways. He just needs to not take critical damage from these mutalisks. There are 5 here, so they one-shot probes. So far, it looks like he's taken down 4 or 5 probes at the natural. The Corsairs did not react at all.
Yeah, and he's not getting +1 air upgrades on his Corsairs either. The Scourge will get on top of some of these Corsairs. But look, Jaeyun is actually just chasing those Mutalisks down. He doesn't care. Oh my god, those Scourge actually just spread the damage, and it's only shield damage, so those Corsairs are going to regenerate, and it looks like this is going to be a complete headache to deal with as Zerg, because you have a bunch of Corsairs running around, you have a bunch of Zealots running around. Zerg is supply block, he is in the red, so I mean, this is a tough spot to be in. As gRynich, you can see he's not mining gas from his natural anymore, trying to resaturate his mineral income.
Yep, there it is, +1, I was about to say, in 10 seconds, and it has kicked in, but the SimCity is great, so these 5 Zealots obviously not going to be enough to pop this down. gRynich has... Oh,
that's a lot of Overlords, though!
Yeah, and they're all going to die if he goes for the engagement here. He's going to see all these Overlords. Oh, the Mutalisks moved out of position, too, and so did the Corsairs.
And it's just one Sunken and a bunch of drones versus +1 Zealots, so much damage going to come here for gRynich. He does have a lot of Scourge, but that's only going to kill... Maybe it only kills, well, it kills 2 Corsairs, but the rest of the Mutalisks are not going to be enough to fight these Corsairs, and the Zealots are just completely destroying that base. gRynich is getting picked apart here.
Get blocked. He's going to get picked. He's going to get blocked, and he's not going to be able to build any units. He's focusing down the hatchery. He wants that base. There's only a single Ling attacking it. This Overlord gets taken out, he's going to be blocked.
Dude.
This is over.
Is Jaeyun gonna get out of this group in first place with an absolute legend? I mean, Scourge are out for gRynich. He is gonna be able to chase these Corsairs out of this base. The drones are coming back, but the main hatchery is dead. I mean, you know, he can still mine from this base, albeit it's gonna be very inefficient. So the thing for gRynich is that he did kill a bunch of those Corsairs. Suddenly he does have air control, but looking at Jaeyun, he's already making Templar. Now, I don't think that's the cannon. That's not the pylon you want to kill, dude.
That's not the pylon you want.
Oh, is he gonna notice though?
No, he's attacking the wrong pylon, and that's also gonna supply block him too.
Oh no, dude.
Oh my god, this would be heartbreaking if this actually allows gRynich to get back into the game.
Well, I mean, we'll have to see
here. Get out.
He's still I mean, he can get out with his units, just not with his Dragoons.
Yeah, without the Dragoons, I mean. And this might buy gRynich time to get something like Lurkers up.
Well, gRynich, I mean, he is at 50 supply here, which is a terrible supply to be at in this matchup. He has had to make a lot of units. Look at how many gateways Jaeyun has. He does have +1. No second forge, doesn't look like. I actually wonder if that's +2 going or +1 armor. You know, against Hydralisks, you definitely want to get +1 armor at this point. The extra weapon does not really make a difference. Okay, Jaeyun actually making a Nexus at that 3rd mineral only. So definitely not going to be all in off of 2 base. But this push that's coming from Protoss is really scary, especially once he gets another round of Dragoons. I would say he still has 4 Corsairs to supplement the army too, so sniping Templars is going to be very difficult, and gRynich has a bunch of supply in Scourge.
Yeah, actually, if Jaeyun attacks now, gRynich can't stop it. Maybe he can stop it at the natural, but the base at mid-left can't be stopped. The base that's obviously at the mineral only can't be stopped. There's no Sunkens or any SimCity. So Jaeyun has 2 opportunities, or 2 places that he can strike and take down a base. It looks like he just wants to end the game. He's gone up onto the high ground over on the left side and saw that that's where all the units are. So he doesn't know about this mineral only, but I guarantee you as soon as he sees it, he's going to be thinking, thank you, because that's going to be a dead hatchery. And gRynich is going to be, you know, really hurting. You can see Sunken Man's coming into play, but this is not Larva. This is not him trying to, you know, go into mass and go into hive, go into super defensive play. He's just trying to not die. Like that's it. There's like nothing to fall back on is really what I'm getting at. So gRynich, I think if Jaeyun just takes another base, it's almost impossible to lose at this point.
Yeah, and Jaeyun's playing very cautiously here. I think he wasn't sure whether or not gRynich committed to mass Mutalisks. That's why he had a bunch of his Corsairs and Templars at the main base, just defending against a counterattack while he massed up, and now he knows this is the time to go. I have a big ball here. The thing is, these high ground expansions are extremely hard to attack. I don't think they're worth attacking. I think if you have this type of timing, you just go straight for the Zerg's main, and that's exactly what Jaeyun is going to do. Where are his Templar? They're coming. Okay, so he has a lot of units. That's 4 Sunkens, though, with a bunch of Hydralisks. It's going to be a bit difficult to break, I think. Well, Jaeyun is going to bleed a couple of units. He does have a massive supply lead, though. So definitely not the end of the world if he loses a Zealot or two. But actually, Jaeyun is going to back off. And I think at this point, he's probably like, you know what? Fine. Have that base of yours. I'm just going to expand.
Yeah, and I mean, you can have as many Sunkens as you want, but all that does is just mean that you're just not going to die right now. There's no powerful upgrades coming in for g0rynich. Now the Queen's Nest is going up, but it's going to be so long for him to hit power spikes, you know, Adrenaline, Plague, stuff of that nature. Also, because Jaeyun has such a dominable army, like, how does g0rynich actually just get out of his base? Like, is that even possible?
Nah, I mean, this is gonna be really hard for g0rynich because Jaeyun has just shifted gears, and his game plan now is to just deny the 4th base from Zerg while he takes his own 4th base. And honestly, this is actually how Dewalt likes to play as well. He plays very kind of, doesn't necessarily go for the busts, just controls the map and expands himself and limits the Zerg's expansions. So I really like how Jaeyun is playing, and can see he's moving his army around very well. Macroing incredibly well as well. Look at his APM, just close to 500. Just insane macro management really from Jaeyun. And g0rynich, I mean, he is doing his best to remain in this game. He had to make all those sunks, he had to make lurkers to stay alive, and he is getting into hive tech, so definitely doing everything he needs to do to stay relevant. But you know, I think many times we would see a Protoss in this situation just try and ram it in and try and end the game, and maybe in those situations g0rynich would hang on. But Jaeyun just so smartly taking a 4th base, starting his robotics tech, starting his Reaver production, and just playing this deny 4th base game. It's incredibly smart from him.
Yeah, sometimes you don't have to actually go outright in the game to win the game. You just make the other player run out of money. That's a tactic
Yeah.
that a lot of Terran players use. And you can see that Jaeyun, he's just going back and forth, making sure that there's no hidden base, that, you know, there's no sneak attack happening somewhere. Now g0rynich has actually moved out a little bit, and he's got to instantly turn around, because if he ends up fighting Jaeyun's army, there's no way he wins that. Look at it, it's like 2 groups of Hydras and that's it, versus a maxed out Protoss.
Yeah, I mean, just look at the supplies. Protoss is ahead 90 supply.
Yeah, and Jaeyun's taking mid left.
Yeah, and I mean, he's taking a bunch of bases, so this is just sick macro play from him. Absolutely sick. And look at how well he's controlling the map, just running around. It just, yeah, I mean, if you look at this as a Zerg player, what do you do here? The thing is, maybe you rely on Defilers to push out of your base to take another base and maybe go into something like drop play. But Jaeyun just seems to be covering all his angles perfectly.
Yeah, and there's going to be a drop into the main, and it looks like he's probably going to storm drop the 3rd base at the same time. There's a shuttle in the darkness. Let's see how many kills this drop can get off. There's the storm, and it's going to get a decent amount of drones, maybe like 3 or 4. Actually, it kind of whiffed those drones on the side, but it doesn't really matter because he's got a massive lead. Actually, what I would like to see Jaeyun do is build more Sares, and the reason for that is because it seems like g0rynich can't do anything, and the only way that he could really maybe get something done is like a sneak drop around the side.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm thinking, especially Hive Zerg.
Yeah, if you get a Dark Swarm down in the base while doing a Ling Lurker drop, all of a sudden, I mean, it doesn't matter how many bases Jaeyun has. If you have this cloud that can't take any damage, he's just going to kill the entire main.
Yeah, we'll have to see here. But at the same time, Jaeyun still has a couple of Corsairs, for example, so definitely has ways of scouting for that. But just in general, Jaeyun, here's the thing, Jaeyun's just playing so well that it's hard to see what Zerg should do, because Jaeyun's covering all the possible options here. Darkstorm does go down, so now it's going to be a bit interesting, because you can see the predominantly Dragoon heavy army composition Jaeyun has is suddenly its efficiency is going to be, oh my god, that was a Reaver there actually. So Jaeyun just going into shuttle harass mode, completely picking apart g0rynich economy, while g0rynich tries to push out to secure a 4th base, but it looks like he's trying to secure this mineral only. That's not really going to help him too much.
Yeah, I would actually like to see Jaeyun start expanding to the right side to prevent drops, like I said. Even if he would end up losing those bases, it'd be better to lose those bases than to lose his main. But instead, he's focusing on just denying g0rynich, which is obviously fine. The Goons and Storm are doing pretty well versus the Ling, Lurker, Hydra combo. Scourge are going all over the place trying to find these shuttles. I saw that Jaeyun had 3 shuttles. Don't know where they are right now. I like that Zealot patrolling, as I mentioned, simply because of the drop potential. There's double shuttle moving somewhere. Looks like maybe into the main this time.
Yeah, I mean, it's 4 shuttles, dude. The
4
Polish
shuttles,
recall.
Yeah, this is going to be a mini recall. And where are the Scourge?
I mean, there are no Scourge. It's just so hard for Zerg to make any units. 4 shuttles, Goons, Zealots, Scourge dies. Well, it's a lot of units. Oh, Templar get out though. Storm on top of the Hydralisks gets a bunch of drones as well. Gets a bunch of Hydralisks. Oh, there's a DT. Yeah, I mean it's just everything minus the Reaver. And Jaeyun kind of moving his army in the middle of the map, making sure there's nothing going on, not any counterattacks, any random hidden expansions. He's going to come back and try and threaten this 4th base that g0rynich is trying to take. But g0rynich, I mean, look at how many resources are left in his main, and he has no saturation there. So his economy is in absolute tatters here. Like, there's just not much he can do.
Yeah, but he's trying to get that mid-left base up, I think, and then also the mid-right base looks like it's being taken to the mineral only. Another shuttle drop into the main. Actually, I think this is just game over.
Yeah, Jaeyun's just going to bust the natural.
Yeah, he's going to bust the main, and I think he's going to bust the natural, or he's going to bust the left side. I don't know exactly, but supplies... Wow, that's a lot of lurkers over on the left side. Supply still 100 supply lead for Jaeyun. Looks like a couple gateways have been misrallied, but you can see he's got 2-2 upgrades. He's got 3-3 coming in. Yeah, that's hatchery's not going to get up.
Yeah, well, right now, I don't know. Jaeyun is, I mean, he's so far ahead, but like, I wonder, Jaeyun seems to be struggling to just ending this game, and g0rynich is going to get this opportunity to counterattack, but so much Storm, those cannons are totally worthless, but the Storms are on point, kills everything before it gets burrowed inside the Dark Swarm. And Jaeyun does deny that base to the mid, right? One more lurker in that Dark Swarm. g0rynich forgets about it, does not get it burrowed. So that counterattack is completely dealt with. And now Jaeyun's going to come here, and the Defiler and lurkers that were once defending this base are gone. Jaeyun will be able to stop g0rynich from taking this 4th base.
He stormed his own ob, though, so he may actually be able to hold this base with just a couple lurkers. Storms are missing. They're missing that one lurker that's just sitting there, but it doesn't matter because it's still 70 supply to 170 there. Now the Storms hit everything.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely incredibly played here from Jaeyun, and GG comes out. g0rynich taps out, and Jaeyun's first out of this group.
Yeah, so
from GoSu League into the group of death.
Is he the new Oyuji?
See ya, Dewalt. See ya, g0rynich.
Yeah, is he the new Oyuji? Actually, Jaeyun's been in BSL before, and he got top 4 BSL 7. So we've seen him before, but yeah, that is pretty cool to see somebody come from GoSu League and just bring it to, you know, g0rynich was in the finals a couple seasons ago. Dewalt was in the final last season. So yeah. Jaeyun taking down finalists from previous seasons. And I looked at the group, you know, I'm sure a lot of people think, just like I'm thinking, okay, well, Dewalt and g0rynich most likely, and neither of them got out in first. Now they might actually both be eliminated because they're in the loser side of the bracket.
Yeah, and Jaeyun just, what a legend, man. I told you his PVZ's no joke, dude. He completely smacked g0rynich. I mean, it was a very solid game from him. Just played very immaculately. And it didn't seem like g0rynich ever kind of got his foot or, you know, any stability in that game. And we were talking about, maybe, I just don't know what I'm talking about. Maybe Powerbomb is the greatest Protoss map to ever be made. But yeah, I don't know. It was very, very impressive from Jaeyun, and just his mind games against Dewalt, the trickiness and the execute. Well, you know, it is still just a Ling all in, and that happens. But the way he executed it was really smart. So Jaeyun definitely prepared very well for this group, and yeah, gets rewarded for it. Now, course, we still have g0rynich, Dewalt, and cRoSs fighting for that last spot. So we're gonna go into a quick break, guys, but don't go anywhere because we've got Dewalt and cRoSs coming at you in just a bit.
Welcome back. We just saw in a hopeful blast off in first place, Jaeyun looking really amazing, actually. I didn't know he had it in him to go for the Ling all-in. That was very, very slick. And then just complete domination versus g0rynich. And as it was unfolding, the scout into the main with the Overlord, I was like, wow, that Citadel is very close to the Overlord. But, Jaeyun's a Zerg player. He knows that once the Overlord sees the Stargate, it's going to turn around. So it doesn't matter how, dangerously close it was. He used that knowledge to his advantage and sealed the victory there. It was chaotic from the get-go. So he gets out in first place. Now we're going to see Dewalt versus cRoSs.
Yeah, I'm thinking about that game actually. How big of a deal was Zealot Speed? I'm not sure it was.
Yeah, I don't know
big of a
either. It wasn't, but like simply because he didn't have any units. He had 5 zealots. I was waiting for the second gate to come down. Yeah,
it was kind of good because maybe it delayed the Mutalisks maybe like an extra 10 seconds, and that was good, but still maybe that was a bit in the October Zerg ballpark, one hatchery build.
Well, sometimes it doesn't really matter how great your build is. If it's weird, all of a sudden it throws the opponent's build off, right? And it gets weird for them, and they're like, okay, well, where am I at now? Because he doesn't expect speed. It kind of just gets weird from the get-go. So you and I agree that the speed wasn't a big deal, but for g0rynich, it obviously was a big deal because everything was wild and quick. Now we get into Dewalt versus cRoSs. We saw cRoSs in a wild ZvZ. g0rynich had it, then cRoSs had it, then g0rynich gets the victory. And now he's going to be going up against Dewalt, who obviously is not happy about the first game. And I'm sure Dewalt knows that cRoSs and Jaeyun are friends, and if Jaeyun's pulling out something wild like this, now he's going to be all of a sudden worried about what cRoSs can throw at him.
Yeah, I feel like Jaeyun pulled out a cRoSs build actually versus Dewalt, because cRoSs does like to play like that. He's so hyper aggressive in this matchup, especially in the early game. He's the type of player that will pull out the Ling All-Ins, he will pull out the Hydra Busts, and he will be incredibly aggressive, and he's really good at things like killing your early probe scout. He can kill your scout with a drone if he wants to keep you in the dark. So it's very, very oppressive, the early game against cRoSs. Now cRoSs, usually kind of in the later stages does fizzle out a bit, but given the fact that Dewalt just dropped the game in that early game versus Jaeyun, it's going to be scary for him. And Shakur's Temple is going to be the map here between the two of them. This is a solid Zerg map. And the game is ready, guys, so let's get into it. Dewalt versus cRoSs in the losers match.
All right, in the bottom right in the black, we have a Russian Protoss. It is Dewalt.
And in the bottom left in the blue, it is Canadian Zerg, cRoSs.
Yes, I know you and I are obviously both big fans of Dewalt. I've been calling Dewalt's BSL victory for multiple seasons now. But we were talking about this yesterday, how when you're the favorite, sometimes nerves can get the best of you. And obviously everybody thinks Dewalt and Bonneth are clear favorites to make it all the way to the finals of BSL. But now that Dewalt has already lost game 1, I'm a bit worried for him. Will nerves strike here because there's a lot of pressure for him to do well? So I'm hoping that that is not the case. Let's see what he opts for here. It looks like this is going to be potentially 12 Nexus or Forge Expand.
Yeah, well, a lot of people make a big deal out of winning tournaments, getting first place and stuff. And obviously from a story point of view, from a narrative point of view, that's what it's about. It's about winning the tournaments. But the reality is,
for 6 months.
Winning a tournament, there's a lot of things that have to go right for you. And even if you come in second, come in third, come in fourth, it doesn't mean that you're not at that level. And, unfortunately for Dewalt, in terms of BSL, it just hasn't quite happened to him. But I don't think anyone would deny that, he isn't the best non-Korean in terms of skill level right now. So we'll have to see. Maybe, this is going to be really hard for him to get out of this group. He's going to run the gauntlet here against cRoSs and g0rynich in best of 1 PvZ on Shakur's Temple, which isn't necessarily the best Protoss map. So he is going to have his work cut out for him. So far, though, overpull from... Oh, no, this is
9-pull. And look at this. Dewalt put up a cannon before...
Wait, he's doing the same build.
Yeah, this is the same opener as what we just saw Jaeyun go for. And this time there's a bit of a deviation from Dewalt. I guess Dewalt has recognized that, well, if I just survive, maybe this is the better move versus players like cRoSs and Jaeyun. Okay, Lings are going to come in here. But I like this move from Dewalt. Like, okay, as I mentioned, Jaeyun and cRoSs are friends. It's likely that they're going to do the same move here. So I'm just going to go for a Forge. Now, I wonder if cRoSs will go for speed, because that probe has been pushed out, right? The Lings don't necessarily have to move across the map. Oh, he's gonna come in. Oh, he loses a Ling.
Yeah, and that was actually sick from Dewalt. I think he had vision of just how many Zerglings cRoSs sent out onto the map, and so
Lair.
yeah, it's gonna be a lair here from Zerg. But Dewalt basically was able to cancel his second cannon, which is a huge victory for him. That means he gets his Nexus out much faster, and now he's also getting his gate down before his second cannon. So he is gonna have a really strong build order here. cRoSs though, again, this is his strength right here. I'd be surprised if, if Dewalt actually gets a rescout, I would be so surprised because, if there's one thing cRoSs is extremely good at, there we go, kills the probe, is this exact thing where he just constantly denies your scouting. The early game from this guy is absolutely oppressive, and we'll have to see if Dewalt can somehow sneak in a probe and confirm exactly what Zerg is doing. But this is so scary because, you're in Dewalt's shoes, he's mining gas, you don't have vision, but do you make extra cannons and delay your tech? But if you do that and it's a lair and it's Spire, I mean...
Well, now all he has to do is notice that the Lings don't have speed because they should have had speed by now. So he's going to know that it's either Hydra or Lair. That's the dead giveaway. And we know that it is Spire. You can see that Dewalt is still worried about it because he still has probes pulled in anticipation of a potential Ling run by.
Oh my god, he's just going to get straight into the main!
How does he let that happen? He was looking away for a second, I guess. Confirms that it is Spire. And this is more like Soulkey Soma-esque, where it's low econ 2-hatch Spire. Now, Soma and Soulkey can make this work, but I don't know how well this is going to work for cRoSs because it's really hard to manage your drone count with this particular build.
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely the type of build that it's still strong, even if it gets scouted, but it is going to be very tricky here for cRoSs, especially because Dewalt, knowing it's coming, he can adjust his build accordingly. So it really is going to tax cRoSs' execution of this build, and I'm not quite sure exactly how much he plays it. We'll have to see here what the follow-up is going to be, how many Mutalisks he's going to make. It looks like he's not really banking any larva just yet. So knowing that it got scouted, cRoSs is going to first invest into his economy, but it looks like Dewalt is getting that +1 air weapons going. He has his Stargate finishing, second gas going. So, he is going to have a response to this Mutalisk play. And, I love this from cRoSs, though. Instead of even committing to Mutalisk, he's just going to go straight into 4 hatcheries here.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh. Where did that Zealot come from? It's going to waltz into the natural. And when it sees that there's so many drones at the natural, he's going to be like, you're powering a bit hard. I probably don't have to build that much defense in my main for Mutalisk. I still, there's Scourge actually. I still think it's going to be Mutas, but not an overwhelming amount. Oh, does he get a drone? No, maybe. Oh my gosh. Almost got that last hit off.
Yeah, well, that was some sick micro there from cRoSs, and he's getting his 5th hatchery. So in general, I mean, this game is basically going to transition into a very standard game from both players. And actually, cRoSs not losing any drones there is amazing for him. It's absolutely incredibly amazing because Dewalt, he's on 1 gate this whole time. So he's not gonna be representing any sort of pressure whatsoever for the next minute or two, and that's gonna allow cRoSs to just get a huge round of drones. I'm actually curious if he might just get up to 6 hatcheries right away and get a massive economy.
I think, there it is. That's actually what I was thinking too. And as you mentioned, I'm not necessarily worried about the fact that Dewalt, built excessive amounts or a couple cannons in his main. What I am sad about is that building below the cannon, I think, is the Citadel just starting. That means there's no powerful units for Dewalt anytime soon. Gateway count is still at 1, as you mentioned, and he lost 2 Zealots. So there's no critical mass Zealots to even move out with, without speed, like something like 5 or 6 Zealots with +1. Like, there's just flat out nothing. Now he has all these Sares, but there's going to be so many Scourge, so much, he could start putting down Spores too. I don't expect the Sares to really do much, but they're worried about moving out. They're just sitting there and waiting.
Yeah, well, I mean, to be fair, though, you do have to wait up to that 5 Corsair count +1 finishing until you can reliably kill the Scourge, so I don't blame him at all for chilling. You can see he gets +1 and 5 Corsairs, moves out. But the thing is, yeah, I'm actually kind of surprised that cRoSs is going to commit to making air here. This is going to be really, really close.
This is a mistake. There's not that many Scourge. Also, okay, now a couple pop-in times. So actually, this is going to be... Wow, actually building those couple Mutalisks triggers more Sares from Dewalt, and this is just going to be a catastrophe for him because, as you mentioned, this is 6-hatch Hydra. I don't even think the Mutas are designed really to do that much damage. Like, he's probably just building them for when Templars eventually come out, I'll be able to snipe them. And Dewalt, everything is so slow. I mean, this is the 3rd and 4th game.
Oh my god, he's making even more cannons.
Yeah, because he thinks cRoSs is all in with this, and really he's not. He has armor, but that's not something that forces cRoSs to all in with it. Look how many drones he got his 3rd base, man.
Yeah, I feel like Dewalt, honestly, he's in that trap that a lot of such like really strong players get into. They're playing in a tournament, they're like, I'm just better than everyone, I have to just survive, but he's overreacting to absolutely everything that cRoSs is doing, and as a result, his build is just kind of offset here. He does have a lot of Corsairs, so it's gonna come down to whether or not cRoSs does commit more. But I mean, he does have carapace upgrade, which is really good anyway to have against. Oh my god, he's going up to 9 Corsairs with this Archon though. I mean, if okay, I was gonna say if cRoSs doesn't start Hydralisk production anytime soon, this is gonna be scary, but it looks like cRoSs is already getting on that Hydra production with the 6 hatcheries. There's absolutely no gateways here for the Protoss player.
Yeah, but cRoSs sees that the army is pitiful. So really, I think what cRoSs should do is put down like a spore at each base, because the only thing that can make this game really wild is if cRoSs gets supply blocked. If that doesn't happen, I imagine he just builds Hydras for the next 5 minutes, and there's no way Dewalt can keep pace. Zealot and Archon are going to try and move in here, but look at this Sim City. You can't get in here.
This is just so annoying to. Oh, but the Archon's gonna get a couple of hits on the Mutalisks, and the Scourge totally whiff. So honestly, this is a lot of Corsairs. If somehow, some way, Dewalt can make these Corsairs work and kill a bunch of Overlords or something. I mean, granted, it's gonna be incredibly hard because cRoSs has so many Hydras.
Yeah, but cRoSs already supply blocked. This is what I'm talking about. This is one way that it can get really weird. Luckily for cRoSs, Dewalt still doesn't have, like 10 gate production or 8 gate production. It's still stuck at 6, but that Corsair count is dangerously high, and we could have a scenario like we saw Calm versus Stork in ASL, or ASL I think, where Calm went all the way down to 4 supply. Like, he just couldn't build anything. So we'll see if Dewalt can make a miracle happen with these Sares. He is sharking around with the Sares right now, trying to find an opportunity. It looks like he's found the Mutalist for now. Wow, look at this control. Despite seeing the Archon, he's still trying to dish out a lot of damage to these Zealots, and he knows that there's an overwhelming amount of Sares. This is so ballsy.
Well, he is buying a lot of time for just making more Hydras. And at this point, as Zerg, you just... Oh, he does soak at least one Storm, which is... Well, he didn't kill any Templar, but soaking the Storm is okay. But yeah, I mean, Dewalt is going to have so many units here, and his supply is shooting up. And I feel like cRoSs, he missed his opportunity to really punish this build from Dewalt, because now Dewalt has a huge ground army. Probably, oh my god, so many of those Corsairs going down already. Oh my god, dude, he cannot lose those Corsairs. If he ever loses those Corsairs, that is the only anti-air he has. This is Mass Zealot, man. I mean, he doesn't have... The thing is, when you make non-stop Corsairs, get the upgrades plus the Archon, you don't have that many Templar. He has like 4 Templar total. So the supply is nice, though, for Dewalt. You would expect him to not be this high up, considering how late his gates were relative to the hatchery count. But
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Is cRoSs' supply is, not super surprisingly
he has lurkers
low.
now.
Yeah, he's got lurker, not super surprisingly low because of the initial opener, but getting away with 6-hatch murder, powering drones for so long, you would expect it to be a little bit higher. Observer is already out, and Shakuris is one of those maps where you can funnel really hard coming down the stairways, and we see that Dewalt has multiple Storms available on like 4 Templars, so cRoSs needs to be very careful. Oh, he's trying to get these lurkers into position, but this is what I'm talking about. Look at how clumped those Hydras are.
Yeah, the Hydras are clumped and the Lurkers go down before they... I mean, they just go down, so nothing to deal with these Zealots, really. And Dewalt just has so many units, it doesn't really seem like Zerg has enough to deal with him. And yeah, I mean, that's... I don't know. That's it.
It's 150 to 100, and Dewalt, I think, is just going to run him over.
Yeah, we just don't have any Lurkers. It's just... I mean, still, though, Hydralisks can be extremely scary. You can't just A-move into them, but... The storms are on point.
You can't eat storms like that. He's taking so much damage to the storms. It's still 140 to 90, though. Dewalt is running out of storm, however. Now it's only a 40 supply lead for Dewalt, no longer a 50 supply lead. Hydras have +1 weapon, so they hit really hard. I noticed that Dewalt has +1 weapon. Not too sure if he has armor just yet. Okay, he does have armor. Oh, he's going to bleed off a couple of the goons, and as I mentioned, there's really not any storms available, so this is the fight that cRoSs wants to take. Look at how fast... Oh, actually, I thought how fast the Zealots are dying, but so many Zealots at the top side that I didn't even see.
Yeah, there's just so much Protoss here.
Oh my god.
But soon enough, the Zealots are going to... No, they're not. They're just so... They're non-stop. There's so many Zealots, Nyokin. I mean, Protoss just has so many units. The goons aren't fighting anymore, though, so if the Zealots do get bled off, then maybe there's an opportunity here for cRoSs, but it just seems like Protoss's macro is untouchable. And man, how did this even happen? Because cRoSs had such a significant lead from the build order.
Yeah, it looks like giving away those mutas gave Dewalt a bit of breathing room, and now the Zealots are going to trounce that 4th base. That's going to be a dead hatchery. He may lose all of his Zealots, but that's going to be definitely worth. It also buys time for Dewalt to get up that crucial 3rd base. That also has gas, of course, because this is g0rynich. But now, actually, cRoSs is shooting up a little bit in supply. He's got 90 to 125. He has +2 weapon. Big power spike for the Zerg player. We've seen that some of the Protoss players these days have been rushing +2 armor. We'll see if that's what Dewalt is going to do. Nope, it is going to be +2 weapon.
Yeah, it is going to be +2 weapons. The armor would be so good here too, but I mean, either really works fine because you know, and in anticipation of the carapace from the Zerg player. But so far, I mean, cRoSs just has the +2 range upgrade here. He has a couple of lurkers. He's just going to go in and fight this, but attacking in this matchup is so risky because now he burrows, and storm on top of the lurkers are just going to be absolutely massive. I feel like Dewalt is just going to run away with this.
Yeah, Dewalt is going to start running away with it because these Hydra engagements have not been the greatest. The storms have been amazing. They've been connecting every single time, and I don't even know if I've seen really any goons fall. Of course, as I say that, there goes one. But Dewalt's production is now, you know, obviously kicking in. He's been on like 8 or 9 gates for the past couple minutes or so. He's really kicking into high gear now. Now that he has his 3rd base. Mid-right's going to be going up for him pretty soon, and the fact that cRoSs cannot even deal with this low Zealot count is bad news for him. Oh no, it's going to bleed off like 6 Hydras as they funnel up the high ground.
Yeah, but that's it. I mean, Protoss has a huge army and has a 3rd base behind this to continuously produce units. So, yeah, looks like GG coming in from cRoSs. And, yeah, cRoSs is out, man. Very unfortunate for him because I feel like definitely his build, it had everything going for it, and for the longest time Dewalt had no units, but I think cRoSs just missed his opportunity. Like, he should have been pressing his advantage a bit more in terms of in that early stage when there was like 9 Sares and less than the control group of Zealots. You already have Hydralisks move out onto the map, but he played overly defensive and never really droned up more than, like, the thing is, Protoss had a huge economy, you know? I don't know, maybe if he didn't lose those 2 lurkers, it's just weird, man. It's very weird, but it looks like Dewalt is just absolutely incredible in his skill level right now and completely steamrolls cRoSs after stabilizing that early game.
Yeah, I think if they were to play that game again, there's definitely worlds where cRoSs takes that game. Like, he had an amazing position after the opener, going for the 6 hatch that went unpunished, really. The Sares did almost no damage. It was just amazing from cRoSs. However, as you mentioned, it looked like he kind of lost his window when he lost the mutas, and then Dewalt transitioned that into a victory, so a bit unlucky there for cRoSs, but he put up a good showing. I did like his gameplay on g0rynich, but unfortunately Dewalt a little bit too strong. But now we're going to be going into the deciders match, and this is going to be Dewalt versus g0rynich. So one of them is going to be eliminated right here. And, you know, Dewalt looks kind of shaky, actually. Building a lot of defense in the early stages versus cRoSs that ended up really not paying off for him. And I'm worried that if
but he won anyway.
I mean, he won anyways, but it was a dangerous situation for Dewalt, of course.
Yeah, definitely it was. So we'll have to see if g0rynich... The thing is, g0rynich, he doesn't really strike me as the type of player to be as aggressive as cRoSs or even Jaeyun, but at the same time, he is the type of player that might whip out the 9-pull speed or like the very early pull aggression. So that could be an option, but you know, most likely we might see just a huge macro game between these two. I know they've played in BSL previously. I think I remember watching, or maybe that was Dewalt versus Siki, but I remember watching a game on Reaper Storm or something. I feel like that might have been, no, that might have been Siki, but in any case, g0rynich is going to have his work cut out for him, and Dewalt, especially after these 2 games, he is going to feel confident. Or like, especially after this last game, he might be feeling confident, you know, especially when you play the first game of the day in a tournament can be very stressful, and when someone throws the kitchen sink at you, it's very easy to crumble. But having stabilized in this game against cRoSs, when it looked so scary for him, like, you know, you get in there, you see its pull first, you see its gas, your probe gets killed, then you see its spire. Then with your first push out, you see there's a bunch of Hydras, and you know Zerg has everything, but Dewalt powered through that one, so definitely his confidence level should be up. Anyway, the game is ready. Shakur's Temple once again. g0rynich versus Dewalt for this final game.
In the blue in the bottom left, it is Dewalt.
And in the red in the top left, it is g0rynich.
Alright, well, I do want to say that, of course, g0rynich, I'm sure, was watching this game, so Dewalt may have kind of shown his hand that he wants to go for Forge Expand, maybe. We'll see if Dewalt is going to opt into Forge Expand again, or if he's going to switch it up, possibly go into Gateway play. I was actually expecting to see the Gateway in the initial game, but not the case. We may end up seeing the fast Nexus like Jaeyun showed earlier too. Looks like the probe is going to hang around the entryway, so this is going to be a bit of a switch up. He is just going to go into the Gateway expansion play.
Yeah, so maybe feeling a bit more confident here against g0rynich, maybe not putting him on such an aggressive opener, but I've seen g0rynich use the 9-pull, so we'll see. Gateway does go down. Well, no. Is that a gateway? Yeah, it's a gateway, sorry. And g0rynich looks like he's going for an overpull, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, so that is going to be an overpull opener from him. And we're going to, of course, find out how he wants to use this opener. Is he going to go for the 235 gas that we saw on Power Bond? Is he going to go for more, you know, heavy hatchery play in the initial stages of the game? Looks like... Okay, Pylon in the main for Dewalt and everything very normal. This is going to be a double scout. Second probe going to go up the top left. He wants to make sure that, you know, no funny business is going on. Unfortunately, g0rynich not going to get a first scout off at Dewalt or at top right. And now g0rynich is going to find him at bottom left and see that everything is pretty much as expected.
Yep. He is going to get his gas very early on. You know, against the gate first, you do want to get speed sometimes. But some players, when they defend really well, they do go into that layer really early on. But this gas is incredibly early, so I wouldn't be surprised if it's for anything but speed. A couple links come out here. The probe is getting a decent amount of intel, harassing the drones as well. Sees exactly how many lings are made. Ooh, it does go down really early though.
So every game so far today, Dewalt has lost his initial probe. Luckily for him, this is not a fast gas opener in comparison to the cRoSsy games and Jaeyun games. So at least he knows he has a bit of time before speed would be kicking in. Now that is a big gap, and Where's the other Zealot? Okay, there it is. It is just trailing behind. But still, there's going to be a gap on the left side. And the right side.
Yeah, this is gonna be a bit annoying to deal with, but as long as you cover your ramp,
Oh,
which he
no!
doesn't, that's the one thing. You need to just cover your ramp with a Zealot probe or two Zealots. But g0rynich gets inside of the base. He is gonna run around, not getting any probes just yet.
g0rynich is getting speed too, so this is gonna get crazy again, because even if he puts up a cannon, those 4 lings can shark around to the natural and pick off the cannon in the back as the lings in the front are being targeted. That is a scenario, or a possible scenario. For now, the lings are just going to run around the main. Speed should be kicking in within, I think, the next 20 seconds or so. Meanwhile, g0rynich is at a 3rd hatch. Yeah, at the top middle, it looks like it's going to be going up pretty soon.
This is really bad for g0rynich. His 3rd
No,
hatch
you
is...
can't lose that!
Well, he loses the probe, but he sees a bunch of lings, and, you know, luckily for Dewalt, as long as he just stays inside of his base at his natural, he will be fine. g0rynich, his 3rd hatchery is incredibly late. He needs to kill a bunch of probes here to make up for that, which he's doing so far. He's actually disrupting the mining quite a bit. g0rynich is doing this really well, and Dewalt, unfortunately, cannot send more Zealots back into his main base, because then that would compromise his natural. And, you know, Dewalt did see extra lings being produced by g0rynich with the probe, despite the fact that it died so early. With g0rynich, I feel like he was expecting that 4 Zealot attack, and it never came. So he made a bunch of lings that are just doing absolutely nothing. His drone count is pitiful right now. So even if he kills a lot of the probes from Dewalt, honestly, his economy is just in the dumpster. Core is going down for the Protoss player. Meanwhile, I don't think g0rynich is anywhere near starting his lair. He has 300 minerals, so maybe he's just going to stay on that hatchery tech and get a 4th and 5th hatchery before teching up. Those lings, again, doing absolutely nothing. He is microing his heart out with these 3 lings, though.
The lings are doing great. Dewalt is not mining gas. You notice that? He's not mining gas, so he can't build any tech at all. So, okay, now the lings are going to engage, and this is actually going to allow, I think, the lings to get cleaned up in the main of Dewalt. So this is a nice move from Dewalt to actually move out, try and get something done, but he loses all of his Zealots!
Yeah, I was going to say, like, that... Well, fortunately for Dewalt, he did kill 2 of those lings, so definitely pressure is relieved here in his main, but like you said, it looks like g0rynich has done the damage here, and now without those Zealots, Dewalt, again, his natural is going to be a bit light in terms of defense, but he does see, I mean, he saw that there was a hatchery that got plopped down. He sees that there's not Hydralisks incoming anytime soon, and that that Zealot at the 3rd maybe could have seen the 5th hatchery as well, but what is this? Dewalt's still pushing out with a couple of Zealots here.
He's going to lose these 3 Zealots because there's still 10 lings left over, and the Overlord saw...
If he just counterattacks here...
Is he just going to counter? I feel like I'm seeing a repeat of the Jaeyun game. There are 3 gaps down there. Oh my gosh, actually engaging.
He needs to just go.
Oh yeah, he needed to just go. This allows Dewalt to get some time. Yeah, he's going to be fine, but actually if those lings had just gone, it would have gotten wild. Meanwhile, Zealots are going to get into the main of g0rynich, and now g0rynich is going to have a wild time trying to deal with this. So far, I don't think he's really lost that many drones. Maybe that was the first one. Now he's going to lose 2.
Yeah, I mean, this is still kind of painful for Protoss because it depends on how well these trade. I mean, this is a perfect situation to be in, though, for the Zealots. But he is going to lose those 3 Zealots. They do buy him a lot of time and disrupt the mining significantly, though. So probably this attack was worth for Dewalt. But, I mean, look at the supply. It is quite close after those Zealots go down. 4 gateways, triple gate going down here for Dewalt. The Corsair is out. Does not seem like he is going to invest into +1 air weapons and more Corsairs. So, especially because he sees that there's no lair, there's no possibility of Mulisks. So, might as well just accelerate your gateway production. And yeah, I mean, this is a nice situation though for Zerg. He is even in supply. He has a bunch of drones. He has all the hatcheries he needs. Oh my god, he's got 6 hatcheries already.
Yeah, and because Protoss had their gas delayed so long, Actually, I don't think it would be possible for there to be a Templar Archive, and yeah, it's not possible. So something like a DT follow-up is not going to be a thing. I actually would love for g0rynich to just all-in Hydra here, even without speed on his Overlord, because, as I mentioned, DT is just impossible. He's already got, you know, 1 million drones, and it looks like that's what he's going to do, because the first couple Hydras are out. They have speed already.
Yeah, one thing that can really punish lair or late lair play are DTs and the Quick Templar Archive. So the fact that Dewalt just cannot afford it. This robotics is incredibly fast.
He's gonna go Goon. I think he realizes that.
Is he though? He has a Templar Archive going. He doesn't have his core spinning.
Actually, he might go Reaver. Yeah, this Robo is extremely fast. So I'm curious what the move is. 6 Zealots are moving out. They do have +1 weapon, I think, so they're going to be hitting like a truck. But the SimCity is great at the natural for g0rynich, but he can't afford to bleed off these lings.
Yeah, but I mean, g0rynich is going to be fine here. It's just all about when he is going to start that Hydralisk production. It is only 4 gates here. Robotics before 6, like your 6 gates or 8 gates, can be really risky, especially versus this mass Hydra style. So it's very interesting to me that he got it that early, especially because he knew there was no lair. So it's not like lurkers can be out anytime soon. It's just very,
so many Zealots.
Very weird. Yeah, that's a lot of Zealots. He is pressuring the map pretty well, but I mean, what's the plan here for Protoss? Templars are out. 4 gateways are done. We'll have to see whether or not he actually goes for a really fast 3rd base here, or if he's going to add his gateways. You would expect him to have already added his gateways if he was going to go for that. Because look at his money. I mean, it's getting up there. 800 minerals. You know, you definitely, at this point in the game, it's crucial to make a decision in terms of your build order.
Well, first shuttle's moving out, so this is going to be, a DT drop. It's going to try and get into the 3rd base. Is there Overlords in the 3rd base? No, it's going to go into the main, actually. And I think that this drop is going to be just instantly intercepted. Spire's going down, too.
He sees it.
Oh, yeah, he sees it. So this is going to be completely shut down.
Oh, he's going to kill the shuttle!
Oh, he gets the shuttle and he gets all the DTs, but that's a lot of Zealots moving across the map, but I think he's got more than enough defense there. Nicely done, and to go for a DT drop at this early in the game, that's an expensive commitment. Also, those DTs could have been Templars, you know? Like, wow. 8 gate coming up for Dewalt. He's in trouble because
Dewalt's in a pickle, dude.
Yeah, g0rynich is about to hit critical mass Hydras, and speed has kicked in on the Overlord, so DTs are no longer a threat anymore. Lurker's coming in too.
Yeah, he is in the biggest pickle. I mean, he's getting pickled right now. He's in the jar. g0rynich is closing the lid on him, and he's boiling alive in the pickle juice. We'll have to see. I mean, I don't know. Like, it's just so difficult here, a situation to be in. As Dewalt, he needs to keep the Zerg back as long as possible to maybe prevent a contain, but I feel like the contain is inevitable here, so Dewalt is going to have to get his gateway count up. g0rynich, though, he is getting a really fast 4th base, so maybe g0rynich is not really interested in committing to contain the Protoss rather than just expand himself. He knows that Dewalt does not have a 3rd base just yet, probably is piecing together that this is going to be at least 6 to 8 gates in the main. So playing conservatively on his side of the map, he's probably gonna hold that high ground base in between his 3rd or the high ground position in between his 3rd and his 4th. But Dewalt, seeing this base, seeing the gameplay from Zerg, I feel like he is gonna take this 3rd base at 6 o'clock.
Well, supplies are dangerously close for the Protoss player. 110 to 130. 1-1 upgrades done for Dewalt, but +2 should be kicking in for g0rynich pretty soon. He already has Lurkers. Also, I did notice he's got 4 Templars, so he's going to have a lot of Storm available because a lot of them have been banking up energy. But running into a Lurker field and Hydras with, backing it up with such a small supply lead, I'm getting a little bit worried for Dewalt. I think that g0rynich is actually going to strike in the next couple seconds. As you mentioned, 4th base is up now for g0rynich at top middle. For now, he's just going to set up a lurker field in the center of the map, though.
I mean, I like this. He has the 4th base that's really fast. There's no reason, you know, especially as Zerg or as any player, if you invest into an expansion and you're ahead economically, there's no reason to push the, you know, to also simultaneously try and end the game because you're kind of just gimping yourself. So the fact that he's playing slower here and just establishing a 4th mining base is really nice. And there's no way he's getting busted in any place here. Like, he has lurkers all over the place. I really like how g0rynich is playing this. And Dewalt, his 3rd base is so late that, you know, soon he's going to mine out from his main base. So he's going to be on 2 base for a long time. And Zerg's going to be on 4 base. So this is really a good spot to be in. I do like how Dewalt is approaching this, though. Just kind of segmenting a group of his main army to snipe a couple of lurkers here and there. Soften up at least one area while he sharks around with the rest of his army. But g0rynich just has so many units.
Yeah, he's got a ton of units even on the right side. Look at the supply, 140 to 151. This is pretty much the ideal situation. Now, some of the wow, you can't engage that. No way, Jose. Dewalt is going to turn around. I only noticed 3 Templars, that's it. Oh, he's got the amulet, so he's got a lot of storms available. Okay, he's got to actually support these lurkers. That's I mean, it hits 1 lurker. It's not the greatest storm there. Dewalt does have his 3rd base up, though. Another whiff, pretty much. So that's 2 storms down the drain. Meanwhile, g0rynich has got his Queen's Nest coming up, so he's going to be going into Hive pretty soon. He's got so many drones.
Yeah, g0rynich, this is, I'm noticing this from him relative to all the other Zerg players in the BSL usually, but g0rynich is just so good at macro. Like, one thing I notice, a lot of Zerg players, especially at this stage in the game, you know, they'll start making their tech buildings like their Queen's Nest. They're going to make their Evo chambers. They're going to make an extra hatchery or 2, maybe make an extra gas. That all costs drones, you know, and generally they don't re-drone up to kind of compensate for that. But g0rynich has been on top of continuously making drones, so his economy is just booming here. He's catching up in supply. You don't really ever see this. Zerg's almost maxed. I mean, that is incredible.
Yeah, Zerg is going to max out in probably about 1.5 minutes. His Hive is going to complete about the same time, and then Adrenaline, you know, maybe a minute or so later. So we're going to be looking at a huge power spike from the Zerg at around the 18-minute mark. +2 weapon already done for Zerg. I noticed that 2-2 is done for Protoss. I think those are great storms, but still doesn't actually kill that many. Okay, now that does get a decent amount of Hydras right there, but he uses a lot of his storm to do that, and I don't see that many Templars left over.
Man, if you're Dewalt's playing really well to be able to basically take fights on different sides of the map and try and trim the Zerg player down, but I feel like Dewalt is hitting he's basically collided against the wall. You know, just noticing like, wow, Zerg has just so many units. It doesn't matter how much storm I have. It doesn't matter how good these trades are for me. It doesn't seem like the Zerg wave stops. And I mean, you know, he is doing the right thing here, trying to take that 4th base. I like that base that he took rather than the bottom right one. You know, if he had taken the bottom right one, he would really be spreading himself out quite thin. But this base here at mid left is allowing him to maintain this aggressive position. But if g0rynich ever gets up to Defilers, it's going to be much easier for him to push that base. So that's something to keep in mind. g0rynich himself taking a 5th base. Defiler mount on the way. Hive is finished. He has triple Evo chamber, 2 in his main, 1 at his 3rd base. Probably crackling on the way. So g0rynich setting himself up for this late game beautifully.
Yep, Zealots are going to spot the hatchery at top right. Meanwhile, Dewalt has gotten his 4th base up. Not mining the gas, though, so he needs to start mining that, obviously. Gas, very, very important to the Protoss player. Now, what the Zealot did spot at top right, there's no Overlord. So those 2 DTs that are moving across the map may find a successful hatchery kill while all this chaos is happening on the left side. But as I've mentioned before, g0rynich is a map where you can get choked up very easily. You can see how hard it is for Dewalt to just even attack down that ramp. He's going to be denied for now, but those DTs are moving to top right.
Yeah, they are going to top right, but I mean, there's Overlords in position. There are a bunch of Lings in position and Zerg units in position. So really this game, I mean, it's just looking so good for Zerg, but Dewalt is really, really good. He's constantly been picking at this position here next to g0rynich's natural base, just poking in with a couple of goons, dropping a couple of storms, killing a lurker or two, and then backing off, and continuously doing this. So it is putting on decent pressure. It's just so hard when Zerg has such a strong economy. But, you know, overall, I mean, g0rynich, you know, as long as he plays solidly, he should be able to convert this into a win. But then again, you're getting into late game versus someone like Dewalt, who's just incredibly strong as a macro player. Like, he has triple forge or something going. He has shield upgrades on his units already. So
it's a big storm. Those are big storms, and he doesn't get the kill onto the Templar. Ends up morphing into an Archon, and the supplies are still dangerously close. 160 to 160. That DT is at top right in the mineral line, waiting for some drones to actually pop out. I did notice that more and more robos have been built, so Reaver's going to be coming out pretty soon. Still, I mean, he's using Storm, but they're only hitting like one lurker at a time. I don't know if this is actually really what you want to do. First Defiler is out.
Yeah, the Defiler is out here. No Dark Storm to see. Oh my god, the Walt's insane taking that base. I mean, that's actually kind of...
Yeah, that's kind of crazy. You need like...
Oh,
that's a great drop into the natural. Kills a lot of the drones there. Meanwhile, DT into the main. This is what Dewalt needs to start making it crazy for him to start securing that 5th base. Drones have been completely pulled from the main all the way to the natural. First couple Reavers are out now too. So you can see that it was even a minute ago. Now there's a 20 supply lead for Dewalt. DT in the main still doing, or still just being annoying, really. I wonder what Dewalt can make happen with this small opening he's created.
I don't know, man. Like, I'm looking at this game, and the thing is, g0rynich had an incredible lead. Like, it's the type of lead that you should never, ever lose in this matchup, but Dewalt is pulling it together, man. He's pulling it in here. He's gonna go for this push. Where's the Defiler? Where's the Dark Swarm? We just saw it.
Yeah, I don't see the Defiler either, and that's a bunch of clumped up lurkers, but here come the reinforcements from g0rynich. He's gonna push this back, I think. Maybe. Yeah, he's gonna push it back, but the Reaver behind this, I think at the 4th base, is going to allow... Well, I guess he needs to send a Reaver from the 4th base up to this 5th base.
Look at these upgrades from g0rynich. He has +3 weapons.
Yeah, he matched the upgrades of Protoss.
I don't even think Protoss has +1 armor, +1 shield, so he, like... What is happening, man? Zerg should just be slamming themselves into this Protoss and just completely obliterating them, but somehow g0rynich is just not finding the angle. Like, he's just not finding... I don't know, Dewalt's just picking him apart in this late game, man.
And now Reavers are on high ground on the 5th base. Oh, that's going to be an exposed Reaver. Can he get it, though? Okay, he
didn't focus it down.
Well, he got the Templar, so, I mean, that's worth. But now the Reaver's going to start slowly pushing. Oh, my God. Can he hit the Steph Curry shot from downtown? No.
Did he forget Consume? Where is Dark Swarm?
I don't know where Dark Swarm is, but he's going to get that Reaver now.
He has Plague.
He plagued that army. He takes down the Reaver, takes down a couple Templars. The DT got cleaned up at top right. Oh, Shuttle gets taken out by 2 Scourge. He wasn't looking.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not too sure. Like, what is that bottom right there? Is that a bunch of
Lings?
Okay, I was gonna say, if that was a hatchery, that would be sick, actually, because especially if you get a Nidus going, that would be a way of choking out the Protoss. But I mean, g0rynich is just you never see this, man. Like, with Dark Swarm, you should be able to push these positions, but he's not even casting Dark Swarm, man. It's just goons there. Plaguing. I mean, plaguing is good, but you would expect him to have already pushed this position.
Oh my gosh, the shuttle is trying to find... Oh, it gets picked off again. And now actually a supply lead for g0rynich. Those are expensive shuttles that just got popped right there. But Dewalt is still on 5 bases. He still has like 9 gates. He still has double support or double robotics. So he's going to be continuously pumping out Reavers. He needs to focus down that Reaver. There's one of them gone. Defiler just constantly casting Dark Swarm over and over and over. Meanwhile, top right is going up for g0rynich. This lurker contain just can't be broken, though.
Yeah, and he's gonna do it, man. I mean, it looks like Zerg
Oh,
has
he's
cracked Protoss.
flank. Yeah, he's trying to set up a massive flank where there's so many lurkers, so many lings and hydras. Where's the dark storm? As mentioned, there it is. He was waiting for his opportunity. Now that the Reaver's gone, he's gonna pounce on this base, and there is so many lurkers set up. Look at how fast these Zods are gonna go poof. DT in the mix might find some success here because there's no Overlord. He needs to focus down the lurkers. That's exactly what he's doing. 3 lurkers go down to a single DT, but the 5th base is going to fall.
Yeah, this 5th base is going to fall, and shortly thereafter, probably the 4th base as well that's right next to it, because, I mean, there's nothing stopping g0rynich from continuously pushing, and this is why, I mean, for a while, Dewalt taking these bases, it made sense. It allowed him to... Yeah, I mean, g0rynich's econ is crazy. It allowed Dewalt to remain aggressive, but now that Defilers are out, now that Hive has kicked in, it's just that much easier for Zerg to push those bases in, as opposed to if Dewalt would have expanded bottom right. It looks like, dude, g0rynich just doesn't care about Darkstorm. He's like, this is a worthless spell. I'm gonna just spray catch up all over your units instead. And you know, fair enough. I mean, there are no goons in that particular fight, but yeah, I mean, looks like g0rynich finally converting his advantage. He was in such a massive lead, man, and he almost lost this game. Dewalt was playing out of his mind, but at this point, I just can't see a way out for Protoss.
Well, he needs to not be overly confident with his move, because Reaver Templar, arguably the most effective 2 units in the game, he could easily have a huge supply swing in favor of Dewalt. I did notice that the 3rd base is mined out for g0rynich, so he needs to recognize that and transfer those drones up to top right, because top right is not mining at all. Another drone cycle for him there. So I really do hope that he transfers those drones sometime soon. Meanwhile, he has a supply lead, but triple Reaver out at the 4th base. For now, Dewalt's going to hold on to that. 2-2 ling upgrades. Bottom middle is going to mine out for Dewalt pretty soon. And he's on a clock. He needs to get a 5th base pretty soon.
Yeah, he does need to get another base because that 3rd base, the early 3rd base, is going to mine out as well. He does have a bank, but really Zealots in the late game are not that effective. The thing with Dewalt's play is that he was making a lot of progress, but every single shuttle he's sent out has done absolutely nothing.
Yeah, they've been intercepted. g0rynich has done a good job. I mean, look at his vision on the map. He has almost complete vision of the entire map. Really, the only side that's lacking is a tiny portion of the right side. But here comes Dawid. He's going to try and push back this lurker contain. But even this small army is pushing back these Reavers. He's going to pop the Reaver in the front. He's going to pop the Reaver. Oh, he's not going to get that Reaver in the back. The Hydras end up taking a big shot there. But still, g0rynich, he just has so much supply. He's on like 10 hatches now. He's at 150 supply.
I mean, Protoss should never, ever... It's kind of like Terran. You know, Protoss and Terran versus Zerg in the late game, they should never, ever, 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 ever be behind in supply, unless they're maxed with their insane late game composition with like Archons and, you know, that Archon ball with the Reaver with the Templar. Or like, you know, Terran would be a bunch of siege. But yeah, g0rynich just has so many units, and in these types of numbers, they're gonna trade incredibly well Hydra Ling versus anything. So
goodbye, Reaver.
It's done. g0rynich has done it.
There it is.
GG from Dewalt.
So one of the favorites to go the whole way just is knocked out in the round of 24, and it's not like he played poorly. He cplayed very well, especially versus cRoSs, and this game looked very good, but g0rynich, flat out, he just played better, and he's going to move on along with Jaeyun into the round of 16.
Yep, that's it.
Well, speechless.
Yeah.
Zero telling us that cRoSs made the prediction that Dewalt was going to be knocked out in the round of 24, and it looks like her prediction came true. So it looks like Caster Curse, Bombastic Curse, like nobody can make a curse. Well, actually, she made the correct prediction. We're the ones that are cursed. Yeah, so unfortunately, Dewalt, he's just gone. I can't believe it.
Yeah, I mean, it happens. What can you say? But even versus cRoSs, Dewalt looked a bit shaky. So just wasn't his day today, man. g0rynich played a pretty solid game, but you saw Dewalt was really climbing back from that incredible deficit. I mean, he was so far behind. g0rynich almost lost that game. And if g0rynich would have lost that game, that would have been kind of a tragedy because really, I mean, Zerg was in such a sick position in the mid game. So, I mean, you know, when you're up, when Zerg is like +3 attack and you're like +1 armor as Protoss, like something's going wrong, you know. But yeah, Jaeyun and g0rynich are gonna make it out of this group, Group C, the group of death. Surprising result today, but we're not even done. We've got another group coming up for you guys in just a bit, so don't go anywhere. And we'll see whether or not Eon Zerg and Dandy can make it out of their group, or if Kame Zerg and, you know, the fourth player can upset them.